If money were no object and you owed nothing to anyone, you could do anything in the world that you wanted to do, and it didn't matter what people thought of you, and your financial security was not a concern, what would you do and how would you spend your time? Welcome back to 7 Moons Astrology. I'm Sarah Kirby, and today we are talking about the partial lunar eclipse in Taurus happening on the 19th of November. This energy is already building. It is super strong. You are already feeling it. This is a high potency time, being that it is eclipse season. So a partial lunar eclipse is a full moon. And so, of course, like any other full moon, it is a time of culmination, illumination, where we see the results and the progress that we've made so far, as well as confronting what is left to be done. It is a point of manifestation. Being that it is an eclipse, however, there is a special energy of fate and karmic purpose tied to this energy. Eclipses are a time where life can take an unexpected change, a very fated new direction, and things can sort of flip on their heads and curveballs can be thrown your way to help guide you toward the purpose of this incarnation. And that's what eclipses are all about. And this is a new energy building in here in Taurus. For the past 18 months, we've been in Gemini and Sagittarius for the eclipses. And we're about to finish up that cycle now. Actually, the last solar eclipse in Sagittarius is on December 4th. But just before that, now here on the 19th, we are dipping our toes into the Taurus-Scorpio axis and kind of getting a prelude to what this energy is going to be like as it kicks off the next 18-month cycle of eclipses. So this is a new energy coming in, and wow, do we have a lot going on in the sky at this time. This has been a rather intense Scorpio season. Scorpio season, of course, is always about transformation and rebirth and peering straight into our shadows to understand the truth of who we are and to know thyself and to rebirth a better version of who we are. And I feel for a lot of us, this has been a highly anxious, very irritable, maybe a little bit deprived of energy, a little depressed, kind of chaotic period of time. For others, and at certain points for us all, there's been brief periods of high motivation, getting a lot done, taking a lot of action. And in other cases, this kind of manifests as being a little bit impulsive, being a little bit fast to react, having maybe a lot of either overexpressed or deeply repressed anger and frustration. And that's really due to the frequent Mars and Mercury conjunctions that we have been experiencing, which are very much so a part of this eclipse energy as well, because on the exactitude of the eclipse, Mars is opposing Uranus within 1 degree. So when I think about this, to me it feels like, as we're going through and questioning everything and diving into our shadows, there's this feeling that we sort of make some headway and then we fall back. And every time we get anywhere, something kind of gets in our way, and it's like start, stop, start, stop. There's like a lack of follow through, that Mars energy where it's like we're quick to start something. Sometimes we feel we've gotten the answer. We finally understood how to kind of control how we're feeling or control the outcome of our experience. And then we're further awakened and suddenly that's not the case anymore. And we fall back into, that anxiety, that irritability. And there's a little bit of that dynamic here too with this eclipse because Mars is opposing Uranus, and that opposition means there's something here about these energies that have to be integrated. And Taurus, to me, Uranus in Taurus is all about persistent, methodical, determined change. Mars wants to move quickly, and Taurus is the opposite of that. Uranus in Taurus is about a gradual awakening. So with that Mars energy, I think, especially conjunct Mercury, a lot of us are feeling really impatient. A lot of us are really yearning to escape the circumstances that we feel are no longer what we want, or consequences of previous choices that we've made that we don't feel aligned with, or there's something we're really, really yearning for that hasn't manifested yet. And there's this element of impatience here that I think is very much so a part of the eclipse. But it's really not all bad news, because there is some beautiful energy here about this eclipse in the form of a trine to Pluto in Capricorn. And so a trine to Pluto to me says that this is a moment in time in which we will get great clarity about where it is that we're headed, again, over the next 18 months. Great clarity and insight into the truth of what it is that we really want, the truth of what it is that we really desire. What do we need at a core soul level? What are we really wanting to see in our lives? What do we deeply, deeply desire? And that actually comes through around the time of this eclipse. We get that insight that we're looking for, and it feels right. It feels right. And because it feels right, I think there's an element of us that's going to feel, really fast to get excited, maybe even a bit overzealous. And I see that in the astrological energy as well, because we've got the eclipse making a T-square to Jupiter in Aquarius. Now, Jupiter is the great benefic in astrology, and so that means it brings good fortune and opportunity and expansion and growth. It's about adventure and enthusiasm and optimism. And so squares, while they can be a difficult, challenging energy in astrology, typically when they involve Jupiter, sort of mean that we have extremely high expectations, like we're shooting for the stars. And then where we land at the end of it is the moon, which is objectively good. It's a beautiful result. But maybe we're feeling a little bit of contrast or resistance to that reality based off our expectation, based off of our super high standard for what we were aiming for. So, a little bit about this energy says that perhaps we're feeling, once we get this clarity, we're super overzealous about making it happen. And I see this ultimately as a good thing, but maybe the message here is to release your expectation about just how far you're going to go. Maybe it's in setting realistic goals and understanding that, Taurus is about, like I said, that methodical, persistent, determined, slow and steady pace of change with Uranus there. So I think that's my message here in regards to the aspects to Jupiter, is that we need to not bite off more than we can chew, and trust in where we're actually headed here will be a positive outcome no matter what. And base your desires and your manifestations from a soul-centered place rather than maybe an egotistical reaching, is what I would call it. But oftentimes what we can see here with Jupiter's involvement as well in a T-square is that maybe perhaps at this time the eclipse brings in fated opportunities that are really good for us and align us with our karmic path and our purpose, but they're really challenging. They're really challenging, but boy, are they for our growth and our expansion. So this is also an opportunity where I'd like to say that if you're one of those people that's been feeling really anxious and irritable and on edge lately, maybe not like yourself, and you're in that shedding and rebirthing process, and it's felt really challenging for you, I think the message here is choose the growth promoting thing and try to feel the enthusiasm for what is the growth promoting thing. And the growth promoting thing is often the thing that is really hard. So we've got that going on as well. And I think the other thing that's really, really important about this energy is we've got Uranus and Venus in an exact trine. This is a beautiful energy that sort of plays out the rest of the year as Venus comes to make continual conjunctions with Pluto. And to me, this says that there is clarity from this eclipse that gives us a chance to revolutionize and change and reform our sense of what we really value based on what it is we've come to discover we really want and desire. Venus at the highest level is about our values, and this eclipse brings an element of awakening to that truth. There's awakening here that suggests that we are gaining insight about how our energy exchange in our relationships or our work or in our home with our family, whatever it is, hasn't been completely aligned with what we value. That's certainly a part of this energy here. It's a call to evaluate where your energy is leaking. And I would like to tie that back to Scorpio season and say that, where is it leaking because of what you fear? Where are you investing and making choices with your energy based on what you fear, instead of what you desire? And how do your daily choices every single day align to what you value at the highest level? What you choose to eat, what you choose to buy. Those are Taurus themes, food and money. Choices as simple as that have an energetic exchange behind them. And this is a period, especially as Venus begins to go retrograde and stays in Capricorn for the next 4 months, where I think at a collective level, a lot of us are going to be evaluating what it is we value in our corporations, in our government, in our businesses, and in our personal lives, the systems that we have set up around us to, support our happiest life. Our exchanges in our relationships, what we desire in relationship, in partnership, what we desire for our appearance and what we wear, what we desire for how we nourish our bodies, what we eat, where we get our food from. All of these things are topics that, are going to mark the next eclipse season in its entirety. And as we sort of dip our toes into this energy now on the 19th, those sorts of ideas and insights will be surfacing in us all. So I think that's what I'm seeing here at a personal level, and I will be sharing 12 sign forecasts on my Instagram, so you can check that out at 7 Moons Astrology on Instagram. I'll link it down below. I write forecasts based on the 12 signs, and you can check out those for your sun, moon, and rising to get an area of where this energy is really manifesting more specifically for you by sign based on the houses in your chart. So I want to talk a little bit about what this energy will mean at the collective level as the nodes shift from Sagittarius and Gemini into Taurus and Scorpio, because this is a big new energy coming in that's going to shift the direction of society. So eclipses have always been seen historically as a marker or time of crisis and as a bad omen. I think this is best demonstrated by maybe a quick chat about where we've been with the Gemini Sagittarius eclipses for the past 18 months. And the North Node in Gemini represents the direction of society, the energy that is being amplified. Something about this energy is not fully seen. It's a little bit eclipsed, right? And it's all to do with those Gemini themes of the news, the media, ideas, the exchange of information, social media, community. All of these things were top of mind for us at a societal level. And by opposition, the South Node in Sagittarius is the energy that is being suppressed at the collective level. And Sagittarius rules foreign travel, higher education, religion and philosophy, optimism. All of those things being suppressed, all of those things being eclipsed for the purpose of that North Node direction in Gemini. So as we shift into Taurus and Scorpio now, a new energy is coming in. And it's just beginning now here in the fall. It's really going to peak more in the spring of next year. But we're dipping our toes into this new energy as it builds here. The North Node moving into Taurus. Well, let's talk about Tauran themes. Taurus rules agriculture, financial systems. It rules what we value. It's the fruits of the land. It's value systems at a highest level, right? So banking, the economy, all of those things have to do with Taurus. And that's really what's going to be top of mind at the societal level. And it doesn't take an astrologer to see how that could easily be the case with the rising inflation and the home market and the economic system, everything about it. Supply chain interruption, the grocery stores, the cattle. This could be something like, a disease with the cattle, more crop interruption, all of these things are going to be sort of the focus of society as we shift into this eclipse season. And by contrast, what is being eclipsed for that aim is the South Node in Scorpio. Scorpio ruling issues of power and control, abuse issues, psychological manipulation, the truth, the deep hidden truth. Those are all scorpionic themes here. So to me, this looks like definitely a time where information is not going to be clear, and something about what is happening with the financial and agricultural systems in society is certainly up for review and manipulation. So make that of what you will. Scorpio, I think, gives us the chance to really evaluate what it is we desire and fear, and Taurus is all about cultivating security and comfort in a way that aligns with our values. So the takeaway message when we think about what this energy means on the collective level is to start making those choices slowly, methodically in your life. If you are not thinking about it already, you should be thinking about it now. How do you get your food? How can you make your food more sustainable? How do you spend your money? Where do you get your money from? How can you make that more reliable? How can you make sure you are in a secure and comfortable place so that you can let what you fear rest? And I think that's ultimately what I have to say about the coming cycle with Taurus and Scorpio eclipses. So again, check out my Instagram later this week for 12 sign forecasts for the personalized energy of this eclipse. And thank you for watching with Energy, Sarah.